Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm here to give you a video where I know the title down below is pretty much called the Mae Young um, Classic Tournament Update number one, because I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of these. Um, this is pretty much a video where I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the Mae Young Classics. I haven't really talked about it since it's really come up. So I figured this would be, I would give a video kind of discussing what I think about it, giving you some information about it, about who's in it and everything. Um, so yeah, this is pretty much what this video is going to be about. Now, obviously, I'm going to combine these into small videos. I'm going to read articles and stuff, and then I'm going to watch the qualifying matches and give you my review of those. So, yeah, now that I've kind of discussed it, let's talk about the Mae Young Classics tournament. All right, so starting off, let me kind of give you a little bit of a background about it. So obviously, this tournament was announced back during WrestleMania weekend. They had a big segment about it. I think during WrestleMania Access, and you had all three women's champions at the time be a part of it. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon made the announcement. It was Stephanie McMahon. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head. And you had all three champions there for it. I believe the champions at the time, it was Bayley, who was the Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss, who was the SmackDown Women's Champion, and then Asuka, who was the NXT Women's Champion. It's kind of funny that the only person that still has the championship is still Asuka, so I think that's pretty funny. And they announced that they're going to be doing this huge tournament, in the summer for the for a woman. It's going to be 32 of the best women all over the world. This is pretty much going to be like the Cruiserweight Classics was last summer, um, and maybe a little bit of the United Kingdom Championship tournament. But I think it's more like the Cruiserweight Classics because it's about the same format. And, um, this didn't really have much of an announcement. We had known about it, and I was kind of thinking like, why are they doing this many tournaments? Like I like tournaments and stuff, but they're really starting to oversaturate tournaments now. You had the Cruiserweight Classics, which was fantastic, but look what happened with the Cruiserweight Classics. The Cruiserweights are pretty much nothing on Raw. It was at the point now where WWE gave them their own show, 205 Live. But which nobody cares about. I'm probably the only person in the world that watches WWE 205 Live, so I think that's kind of funny how that happened. And then you have the fact that you have the United Kingdom, and the cruiserweights just don't get utilized to their potential. The champion isn't even someone that competed in the cruiserweight classics. It's someone that's been on the main roster for a while. So the Cruiserweight Classics have been a fail. None of them even competed at WrestleMania this year, so that's a fail in itself. And then the United Kingdom Championship Tournament, that's actually been better than the Cruiserweight division. At least they've been able to showcase themselves. But the problem is you'll go. There'll be a few weeks or about a month or so where you won't even see anybody from the United Kingdom Championship division. It's been about maybe 3 weeks since we've seen any of the participants from the United Kingdom Championship. The champion hasn't even shown up on NXT, and they keep talking about this United Kingdom Championship show that's coming, or it's going to be a weekly show, but it never has shown up. But when they but I will say this, that when they do something with the United Kingdom Championship, it's at least good stuff. They have featured in a more prominent way. Usually the championship, when it's defended, it's in the main event of NXT. They had like the best match probably this year. At NXT Takeover Chicago, so that's, I think, really special. So Not sure where this Mae Young Classic tournament's going to end up going. You also have the problem now is why are they even doing this tournament to begin with? All these women are going to this tournament, but yet NXT is kind of struggling to find women because pretty much Asuka's wiped out the whole entire NXT women's division. She pretty much is the NXT women's division right now is pretty much Asuka, Ember Moon, and maybe Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, but they're not even as much of a focus as Asuka or Ember Moon. I could even throw out Nikki Cross, and I can't even say really Ruby Riott because she really hasn't been seen much on NXT. All the other women on NXT are pretty much jobbers. You have Aaliyah, who's jobbing out all the time. You have Liv Morgan, who nobody even cares about. So instead of bringing all these women into this tournament, put them all on NXT. NXT needs the women's division right now. You even have SmackDown. They only have like 6 featured women. I mean, it was at the point where all the women were in that Money in the Bank match. Naomi didn't even have anyone to defend her SmackDown Women's Championship against. And she had to defend it against Lana, who had never wrestled before. It was ridiculous. Then you have, you have the NXT, and then you have the Raw Women's Championship, where pretty much the entire division is the same because you always have the same people pretty much in the title picture. Right now, pretty much in the span of maybe the year, the only people that have been in the title picture are Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. They've all been fighting over that Raw Women's Championship, even before it was the Raw Women's Championship. So that's just... And now Alexa Bliss is in the title picture, which is somebody new for Raw. But pretty much all the time, they've had each member of the 4 Horsewomen in the Raw Women's Championship picture. And then the Gauntlet match, Mickie James is a nice name to have in that championship picture. She's a former women's champion, but they're not using her to her potential. You got somebody like Dana Brooke, give me a break. You got somebody like, who else is in there? Dana Brooke, Emma, who never gets used properly, always gets hurt. Then Nia Jax, who's terrible. So like I said, I think they need to stop winning some of these women to either instead of putting them in this tournament, bring them to main roster or to NXT because they need these women. Because right now the women's division all over the place is kind of a little bit stagnant. So you need to kind of break up the thing, and the fact that they're fighting over that they're having this tournament is kind of stupid. That said, though, I'm still I know I said all those things. I'm still looking forward to, and then one more other thing. These tournaments have kind of affected, because now that Triple H and stuff has put all this focus into these tournaments, it's kind of affected NXT, because NXT doesn't feel pretty much kind of had like a low point last year. It was still great, but it wasn't like as big as it once was. And I feel like it was around the time, Triple H put his focus on these tournaments. So that's definitely something else that's also been an issue. But that said, though, I'm still really excited for this Mae Young Classics. I think it makes sense to call it the Mae Young Classic. Mae Young's been somebody that has been very, that is pretty much, even though she has been a very, she's pretty much a legend in women's wrestling. She lived to like about 89 years old, which is very rare for a professional wrestler to live till 89 years old. Normally they die in like their 60s, some of them in their 40s because of drug overdoses, but she lived a long time. She dedicated her life to wrestling. You always saw Mae Young every year. Obviously, I remember the most memorable segment was when she gave birth to a hand, and the whole thing with Mark Henry, in the Royal Rumble when she ended up being a part of the bikini contest, when she gave Eric Young the Bronco Buster, not Eric Young, Eric Bischoff the Bronco Buster. Sorry, I messed up the name. Obviously, another one I remember is when when she was on the Old School Raw and she wrestled Lay Cool and says, "I'm going to take on these sluts right now, which was a really weird time to do that because that was when WWE was trying to go into that PG route, and you have her saying that. I thought that was pretty cool. And she's done a lot of cool stuff. Obviously, I remember when Bubba Ray Dudley powerbombed her off the stage of the table. Like, Mae Young's dedicated her life to professional wrestling. I think the tournament deserves to be named after Mae Young. So I'm happy about that. I think I've said, and I'm also looking forward to it too, because like I said, I expect it to be fantastic wrestling. The Cruiserweight Classics, we had some match of the year contenders in there, like Cedric Alexander versus Kota Ibushi, Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano, T.J. Perkins versus Grand Metalik, Kota Ibushi versus T.J. Perkins. What else matches of the year did we have in there? The Brian Kendrick versus Kota Ibushi. Tony Nese versus the Brian Kendrick. I remember those matches. I also remember trying to remember Rich Swann versus T.J. Perkins. Rich Swann versus Lindsay Dorado. Those are just really memorable matches. Every match was awesome. Obviously you have the United Kingdom Championship tournament where I remember Pete Dunne versus Sam Gradwell. It really made Pete Dunne. He became an aggressive wrestler. I also remember Tyler Bate versus, I forget the wrestler's name now off the top of my head, but it was like the final round of the first round tournament. I actually got to look that up real quick now. Just give me a second. Oh my gosh. Of course my internet decides to be slow. It always is slow at the worst possible time. But yeah, so I just want to look this up real quick. I also remember, I forget the guy's name, but like the guy that was trained by, let me just wait till this pops up. Okay, it's going. Getting there. I didn't think I was going to actually talk about that as fully as I was, and I didn't think my phone was going to fail when it comes to internet. Okay, I had to turn off the internet. Okay, yeah. So it's Tyler Bate versus Tucker. No wonder why I didn't remember that match. Another match. Let me see. Other matches I remember is Pete, like a lot of Pete Dunne stuff. I remember Mark Andrews versus Pete Dunne from the tournament. Trent Seven versus Wolfgang. I remember that match pretty well. Jordan Devlin versus Danny Burch, which I remember that match pretty well. Who else? And obviously the finals when Tyler Bate won. So you had a lot of memorable matches out of the United Kingdom Championship tournament. So I expect to have some fantastic matches in the women's in this Mae Young Classics. Obviously too, it's another way that really pushes this women's evolution. They're trying to tell with WWE. They've had now now they've had started the the Divas Revolution back in 2015 when they brought up Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch. And they had, the first ever, then they changed the Divas Championship into the Women's Championship. They had the great triple threat match at WrestleMania 32 that I had the pleasure of seeing live and in person. Then they had you had the segment, you had Charlotte and Sasha Banks main event Raw for the first time. I don't know, maybe and since 2004. So and it was 2016. So in over 10 years, you had the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match in October at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. The first women's Falls Count Anywhere match that also main evented Raw. You had the You even had women competing in Iron Woman matches, with in NXT with Sasha and Bayley, and then at Roadblock, end of the line, and it was at NXT Takeover Respect at Roadblock, end of the line, Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair, and then you also had the SmackDown woman doing some great things. You had the SmackDown Women's Championship get defended in a tables match between Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss. You had Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch compete in a steel cage match in the main event of SmackDown. You had you just recently had the first ever SmackDown Women's Money in the Bank match, which has been ruined now, but you still have that, I guess. Women's wrestling's just really branching out, and really becoming this big thing. And WWE's really started this revolution. Where now the women are in the same level as the male wrestlers, and it's just been great. This has continued that. So those are like my thoughts. But I am looking forward to this tournament, even though I have those concerns about it. But now that I've talked about that, let's talk about the articles I'm going to read and stuff about when the tournament's going to be, who's going to be doing commentary for it, and who's going to be competing in this tournament. So I'm going to talk about that now. All right, so I'm going to start off by reading this article about who's going to be doing commentary for this tournament. So it says here, Jim Ross and Lita to announce the Mae Young Classic, streaming exclusively on WWE Network, starting Monday, August 28th. Now, what's confusing about this was it says that it's Monday, August 28th, but I read somewhere online that it's actually taking place July 13th and 14th. The thing I'm thinking of is that they're going to tape these tournaments on those days, and then they're going to finally air on the network in August. That's what I'm thinking of, but I'm just going to go by this because it's on WWE's site, and I feel like if it says it here, then it will say it. But I will have more updates about that later on. But let me just read this article, and then I'll give my thoughts on it. So WWE has announced that the first ever Mae Young Classic Women's Tournament will stream exclusively on WWE Network, starting Monday, August 28th, with the first 4 episodes available on demand. Episode 5 through 8 will be available on demand on Monday, September 4th. The final match was streamed live from Las Vegas, on Tuesday, September 12th at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm assuming, though, it's going to be available on WWE Network. They're not going to, since that's where it's going. It just says on demand. I don't know why it says that. But yeah, that's exciting. I like that. The only issue is I hope it doesn't take place after Monday Night Raw, because it's going to be tough to watch a 3-hour Raw, then that tournament at the end. And, obviously, too, I work Mondays, and I have to get up at 6 every Monday, so I'm hoping that, and I'm usually tired by the end of Raw, so I usually end up going to bed. So I'm hoping that doesn't take an effect, but we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, I like the final match in the tournament's taking place on a different day, though. I think that's awesome. The Mae Young Classic will be called by WWE Hall of Fame announcer Jim Ross, who will be joined on color commentary by 4-time Women's Champion and WWE Hall of Famer Lita, which I think is awesome that they're going to be doing commentary. Jim Ross, he's been back doing commentary for a few months now. He did commentary for the main event at WrestleMania 33, and he did commentary for the United Kingdom Championship special. And then he did commentary for the United Kingdom Championship match at NXT TakeOver Chicago. And I like the fact that he's back in the fold, and they're featuring him in special ways to make it feel special when he does get utilized. And obviously, like I said, he's getting older. He probably doesn't want to be traveling all the time. So I like the fact that they're using him on commentary. And I think it makes sense for Lita to be doing commentary. She was in the first. She obviously helped revolutionize women's wrestling. Because she was in the first ever main event. On Raw, and she did a lot of stuff for women's wrestling, and she was a great part of the Attitude Era, also Ruthless Aggression Era. So I think it's awesome. She's going to be doing commentary, and I can't wait to hear that. You know, it makes sense to have like a woman do commentary for it because I don't know, because it gives a woman's perspective on things. The tournament, named after WWE Hall of Famer, one of the greatest WWE superstars in history, Mae Young, will feature 32 of the top female competitors from around the world participating in a single elimination tournament. The Mae Young Classic is a unique and exclusive offering for WWE Network subscribers and further highlights our ongoing commitments to the women's evolution in sports entertainment, said Paul Triple H Levesque, WWE Executive Vice President, Talent, Live Events, and Creative. It's a privilege to showcase these talented women from around the world and to provide them with an opportunity to shine before a global audience on WWE Network. And then this is I'm gonna read that article afterwards. Actually, competitors announced thus far. Now, this article, by the way, I just want to mention is from I don't know exactly when it's from, but it's from a few weeks ago. So I don't know if it's been updated since then. But competitors announced thus far include Toni Storm from New Zealand, Princesa Sujit from Mexico, Lacey Evans, Sarah Logan, Tessa Blanchard, and Abby Laith from the United States, Kavita Devi from India, Jazzy Gaybird from Germany, and Tarina Conti from Brazil. WWE Network will also stream an exclusive special, Mae Young Classic Brackology, immediately following SummerSlam on August 20th at 11 p.m. Eastern. Fans can watch the Mae Young Classic and all of WWE's network programming by signing up at WWENetwork.com, and then that's it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. To watching that Brackology. It's pretty much going to be like the Cruiserweight Brackology, and then the United Kingdom video intro video they did introducing the competitors. Because I'm obviously not going to know a lot of these competitors. The only ones I really know are Lacey Evans, because I've seen her wrestle in a few matches in NXT before. I've seen Tessa Blanchard wrestle a few times in NXT, but they've been using kind of squash matches. So this is kind of a chance for them to really shine. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, so that's about it for that article. I can't wait to watch it. There's going to be more articles to come. Now I'm going to read the articles about the competitors that are going to be competing in the Mae Young Classic tournament. Sorry, I forgot what the name of the tournament was for a second there, but I want to read that now. Alright, so now I'm going to read. I found an article that's called International Powerhouses Performance Center Standouts and Third Generation Grappler Named to Mae Young Classics. This kind of gives you, like, I guess, a little bit of an intro of the participants that are in it so far, so I figured I'd do that. The anticipation for WWE's inaugural Mae Young Classic continues to grow with the announcement of 5 more entrants into the tournament as reported by ESPN.com. Third-generation wrestler Tessa Blanchard, hard-hitting veteran Abby Laith, black belt judoka Tana Conti, international bruiser Jazzy Gaybird, and great Khali prodigy Kavita Devi, which kind of concerns me that it's a great Khali prodigy, because that concerns me a little bit. And the latest addition to the Cruiserweight Classics, which streams this summer exclusively on WWE Network. So this is the information about each competitor now. Tessa Blanchard. She's 21-year-old Tessa Blanchard of Charlotte, North Carolina. May be new to the WWE universe, but her last name isn't. The daughter of WWE Hall of Famer and Four Horsemen Tully Blanchard, granddaughter of wrestler turned promoter Joe Blanchard, and stepdaughter of NWA legend Magnum TA, Tessa decided to follow in the family trade after watching her father's Hall of Fame induction in 2012. Since her 2014 debut, debut, Blanchard has competed across the globe, including in the UK, China, Japan, and the Maritimes, where she once wrestled 23 nights in a row. Damn. She has even garnered praise from The Rock, whom she worked with on the set of the movie Fighting with My Family. I think I remember she wrestled. Um, she's in that movie, that new Page movie The Rock's trying to produce. I don't even know if that's going to get out now, but I think that, Tessa Blanchard obviously has got name recognition and stuff. So that's Tessa Blanchard. Abby Lath, I think that's how you say that. Abby Lath grew up admiring revolutionaries like Lita, Chyna, and Ivory, but the WWE Performance Centers stand out. Renowned for her strikes and suplexes, will have a chance to break new ground for her of her own in this summer's classic. Coming to wrestling with an extensive background in dance, particularly ballet, Lath began training for the ring while working toward a bachelor's degree in dance education from the University of the Arts in Philadelphia. Lath, who counts WWE Cruiserweight Drew Gulak as one of her original coaches, developed into wrestling loyalty on the independent scene. She captured titles in Shimmer Wrestling Athletes and Shine Wrestling, and became the only woman to hold the Chikara Grand Championship before joining the Performance Center earlier this year. So she does have some experience. She's not a homegrown WWE talent, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm just saying it didn't seem like she did. Obviously too, she's wrestled in NXT before. She wrestled Ruby Riott in a match in NXT before, so can't wait to see where she goes. Next one is Taynara Conti, a newcomer to sports entertainment. 22-year-old judo master Taynara Conti might be one of the Classic's least seasoned wrestlers inside the ring. However, the Performance Center recruit isn't lacking elite combat sport experience. Conti spent years honoring her martial arts skills in her native Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, eventually being promoted to black belt in judo and blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Her thunderous throws put her on the radar of WWE talent scouts, and she joined the Performance Center in 2016. Having trained under WWE coaches since last October, Conti will get her first chance at the Mae Young Classic to show the world what happens when a judoka enters the ring. So kind of can't wait to see what she does. I guess this is I'm going to show you a picture of the next one. It's Jazzy Gaybird. I don't know if you can't really see it actually. Let me turn the brightness off on my phone. Maybe you'll be able to see it then if I put my phone down. She looks like a powerhouse though. But representing Germany in the Classic is Jazzy Gaybird, a muscle-packed 6'1" brawler who has wrestled internationally for more than 15 years. A strong woman and professional MMA fighter outside the ring, the bruising Berliner has achieved her greatest success in Europe and Japan. Gaybird is a multi-time champion in Japan's Stardom organization, and she is currently a women's champion for groups in Germany and Switzerland. In MMA, she has fought under the banners of the Rising Fighting Federation and IFO Europe. So, kind of can't wait to see what she brings to the table because she looks like an absolute powerhouse. Next competitor is Kavada Devi. And Kavada Devi is a powerhouse student, a former world champion, the Great Khali, hailing from Jind, Haryana, India. The 5'9" Devi is a top competitor in Khali's Punjabi-based organization. Continual wrestling entertainment, she gained the attention of WWE talent scouts at a tryout this past April in Dubai, I think that says. Devi was an accomplished Kaba Ada player in high school and is also a competitive powerlifter. In 2016, she won a gold in the 75 kg weightlifting division at the South Asian Games. Inside the ring, Devi has racked up victories using a head craven roundhouse kick. And then that's all it says. And then it says stick with WWE.com for more details on the Mae Young Classic, including new competitor announcements as they become available. But there's still more to come. But those are some information on some of the competitors that are going to be in the Mae Young Classics championship. But I still got more information to come. Okay, so next thing I'm going to talk about is Kawaii Sane announced her participation in the tournament. I just watched a video on it. The only issue is she doesn't. Well, she's from Japan, so she doesn't speak English. It was tough for me to understand. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just telling the truth. And when she was talking, but I think she pretty much tries to say that she's been training really hard for this tournament and to watch out and how she's going to take people out. I really couldn't tell you though. WWE should have had like captions so that way we could understand what she was saying. I didn't really like that they didn't do that, but whatever. I think the next article is the next thing is an article on her, so I'm going to read that now. Okay, so the next article I'm going to read is Mae Young Classic field widens with addition of international sensations, including Japan's Kairi San. I probably didn't say the name the same as I did before, but an international field pilot has set course for NXT and the Mae Young Classic. 28-year-old Karana San, nicknamed the Pirate Princess in her home country of Japan, where she is one of the most celebrated women's wrestlers of the modern era, announced today. I don't know when this was. This was posted not that long ago though, like sometime last week, that she has signed with NXT and will compete in this summer's Global Women's Tournament. San broke the news via video message that played on the big screen inside Goku Kokangan Sumo Hall, the site of today's WWE live event in Tokyo, and that's the video that I had pointed out. Formerly known by the Allies Kairi Hojo, San had wrestled for 5 years and it was a multi-time champion in the Japanese organization Stardom. Her pirate persona is inspired by her elite background in Yachin, I think that says. Before entering the mat game, San competed in the Yachin Yakin, I don't know if that's his World Championship and was considered an Olympic hopeful. Though San has often carried a spyglass to the ring, it's her highlight reel whirly diving elbow drop, thought by many to be the most beautiful in the world, that has navigated her to many milestone victories. San, however, is not the only new blockbuster entrant confirmed for the Mae Young Classic. Joining her are two other international sensations, Dakota Kai of New Zealand and Piper Niven of Scotland, as well as NXT superstar Bianca Blair, who won a qualifying match to earn her berth in the Mae Young Classic. So this is some information on Dakota Kai. Auckland, New Zealand's Dakota Kai has held titles not just in her native country, but also in Australia, Japan, and the United States, including the Shima tag titles with NXT superstar Ruby Riott. The 10-year veteran, also known as the captain of Team Kick, is famous for her wide variety of strikes, including a running Yakuza kick that in gift form has taken on a life of its own among wrestling fans. She ventured into WWE's orbit once before in a 2015 loss to Nia Jax in NXT. 2 years later, she is now a recruit at the WWE Performance Center and looking to prove she belongs for good this time. Then the next one is on Piper Niven. Hailing from Leicester, Scotland, Piper Niven is an experienced powerhouse who has competed across numerous promotions, including Shine, Shimer, and Glasgow, based in Sane Championship Wrestling. Drawn to sports entertainment at an early age, thanks to the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin and China, Niven played contact sports in her youth, setting the foundation of her eventual in-ring debut in 2008. She is revered for high-impact offense, which includes senton splashes and power slams and a signature Michinoku driver. And then the next one is Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair of Knoxville 10 qualified for the Mae Young Classic with a recent victory over NXT superstar Aaliyah. Watch the match in its entirety below, which I'll do that in a second. Calling herself the EST of NXT. Belair claims to be the strongest, fastest, and youngest woman on the Performance Center roster before joining WWE in 2016. She competed in track and field in University of South Carolina, Texas A&M, and the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and she is a regional CrossFit competitor who has been featured in RX Magazine. Prior to making her NXT debut, she shined in last year's inaugural Performance Center combined, putting up amazing numbers such as a 400-pound trap bar deadlift and a 2.7-second 10-yard sprint, which is really impressive. And then it has the match that I can watch down below, which I'll watch in a second. And then today's editions bring the total number of confirmed Mae Young Classic entrants to 13. The tournament, which will be announced by WWE Hall of Famers Jim Ross and Leaders, debuts on WWE Network on Monday, August 28th. Stick with WWE.com for more updates on the classics, including more competitive reviews in the coming weeks. And then that's it. So that's some nice information right there. So now I'm going to continue talking about it and give you some more information. I believe the next thing, now I'm going to cover the match between Bianca Belair versus Aaliyah. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so we had the Mae Young Classic Tournament qualifying match. It was Bianca Belair. I think that's how you say that. I don't know. I messed it up, so yell at me in the comments. But it was Bianca Belair versus Aaliyah. And we had Percy Watson, Mauro Ranallo, and Nigel McGuinness doing commentary for this match, because this match took place on the June 30th, 2017 episode of NXT. This was probably like a dark match or something, but they just aired it online because they probably wanted people to see it. You actually had a woman being the referee for it. And like I said, I know this isn't the time and place to talk about it, but it's still really good to hear Mauro Ranallo back on commentary. And now it makes me feel even better because I can go back and watch his commentary in the past and actually feel pretty good about it and not feel as pissed off as I was. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy that WWE and Mauro Ranallo have come to terms and they didn't let Mauro Ranallo go. And like I said, I think NXT is going to be an easier schedule for him, like I talked about, because he can go do other projects obviously he's calling the fight between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Well, the boxing match, I should say. So it gives Mauro Ranallo a chance to branch out and do other projects. He doesn't have to be on the road all the time, which I think helps probably him fit mentally. So I think that's great. But anyhow, back to what I was talking about. We had the match. Bianca Belair pretty much gets the upper hand on Aaliyah in the beginning. She hits a wicked shoulder tackle on her, and then Aaliyah hits a drop kick on her and starts to take control. But then Bianca Belair hits a wicked slap right in the chest, which I thought was awesome. And Bianca Belair starts to dominate Aaliyah. She gets her into like a torque, and she ends up dropping her like face first on the ground, and then eventually Aaliyah hits a roll through on her. Then she starts making a comeback. She hits a neck breaker, and then a Northern Light suplex covers Belair. Belair kicks out. Then Belair hits like a Celtic cross into the knee to the head onto Aaliyah. Then she hits the spear for the win, and she qualifies for the Mae Young Classics tournament. I thought Bianca Belair looked actually pretty good out there. There was actually one spot I forgot to mention where she picked up Aaliyah, and she picked her up for a power slam, and she said that she is the EST of NXT, so she like did like squats doing the EST teach chant and just dropped it with a power slam. I thought that was a good spot. So overall, I thought this was a nice, solid match. If I had to rate the match, I'll probably rate it a 3-star match. I thought it was a good, solid match, and it was good to actually show this match because it kind of gives you a lot of it helps you get to know one of the wrestlers that are going to be in the Mae Young Classics tournament. So overall, good match here, and I guess Bianca Belair makes sense to qualify because it seems like Aaliyah just still can't get over for shit. So whatever, right? But overall, good, solid match here. Okay, so now I'm WWE.com has photos from yesterday about people that are going to be in this Mae Young Classics tournament. Now, I want to make sure it's probably going to be more of the same, but I just want to go through these photos and make sure that nobody else has been announced. So I'm just going to go through these real quick, and then I'm going to check to see if there's any more information on it. So we have Kara-san, Sarah Logan, Bianca Bianca Blair, I don't know. Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans has appeared in, and so let me go through. So yeah, Kavana-san, I still don't really know a lot about her. Sarah Logan, I know she's been in NXT. I think she just wrestled a match against Peyton Royce because that's the photo that it shows on here. So I saw her like about maybe 3 weeks ago. Bianca Belair, that was the person who just won the qualifying match against Aaliyah. Lacey Evans, we've seen her in a few matches in NXT. She's had some squash matches and stuff. Princesa Sujit, I have no clue who that is, but it looks like somebody new. Toni Storm, never heard of her. Abby Laith, I just read about her. Tessa Blanchard, obviously the daughter of Tully Blanchard. Tawana Tainawa Conti, Jazzy Gabert. Don't know a lot about those wrestlers I just mentioned. Dakota Kai, Piper Niven, Kavata Devi, and that's it. So the only ones that were really new were Lacey Evans. I think Lacey Evans, Princesa Sujit, and Sarah Logan. So not a lot of new competitors there. But there were, I guess, some new competitors. So now that I've kind of gone through that, that's about it for the Mae Young Classic coverage because there's nothing else here. So yeah. Okay, so one final thing I want to say because there's no other like articles and stuff I have to read because that's all the competitors that are announced. That's when the tournament's happen. You're going to be doing commentary for it. So I gave you my thoughts the best I could. It's a little bit tougher for me to do so because I haven't seen a lot of these women wrestle. The only ones I've seen wrestle were Lacey Evans, Sarah Logan, the one that wrestled Nia Jax in that squash match, but I don't even remember it all that much. I saw Tessa Blanchard wrestle. I've seen Bianca Belair. I just saw her wrestle. So I haven't seen a lot of these women wrestle. One of them looks like that they're from Lucha Underground, but I haven't watched much of Lucha Underground. I plan on doing that very soon. But yeah, those are some of the women's wrestlers that are announced to be competing in this tournament. One final thing I want to say though is what the person's going to get out of this tournament. Because obviously, with these past tournaments, the Cruiserweight Classics, you had a Cruiserweight champion crowned. The United Kingdom Championship tournament, you had the United Kingdom, a new United Kingdom champion crowned. What is the person going to get out of this tournament? Because one thing they should not get out of this, and the WWE should not do, is create another women's championship. They don't need to create a women's championship out of this tournament. They already have enough championships in WWE. They have a lot on Raw. They have the Universal. They have the Intercontinental Championship, the Raw Tag Team, the Raw Women's, and the Cruiserweight, obviously. They have on SmackDown the WWE Championship, the United States Championship, the SmackDown Tag titles, and the SmackDown Women's title. You don't need... and then on NXT, you have the NXT Championship, the NXT Tag Team Championships, the NXT Women's Championship, and the United Kingdom Championship. You already have 3 women's championships per brand, as I just mentioned. You don't need to create another women's championship, because then, again, you just have all these women that signed that you can't do anything with, because they really haven't done a lot with the people from the United Kingdom Championship. They have all these guys signed, but they're not doing anything. They're not really doing much with them, so you can't create a women's championship out of this. So what I would recommend that the person gets out of this tournament is a couple of things. Obviously, you get a chance to wrestle for the NXT Women's Championship. Because let's just say Asuka defeats Ember Moon at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, and you need to find another feud for her, or Ember Moon defeats Asuka, vice versa. You need something for one of the competitors to do. So why not have them face? Why not have the winner of this tournament become the #1 contender to the NXT Women's Championship? Because there's going to be an NXT special shortly afterwards, so why not say you get an NXT Women's Championship match at the NXT special in November, because there's going to be one in November just before Survivor Series. That's something I would recommend. Or it could be like the Royal Rumble, where the winner can choose what championship they want to go after. They can choose to go after the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, or the NXT Women's Championship. Because you just can't make another championship for women's. You already have 3 women's championships. You don't need to make another women's championship. Another option is you could have the winner get like a contract from the main roster, where they can just easily go on the main roster. They don't have to go in NXT or anything. That's another option you can do. Because the problem is if you have this if you have this Mae Young Classics tournament and you just have a women's championship come out of it, then you have a whole issue where now you have to use these women here, and you don't need to create another women's championship. The NXT Women's Division needs these women, like I mentioned. So please don't create another women's championship out of the Mae Young Classics. That's all I ask. So that's my final thoughts, really. So what I think the person should get out of this is 2 things. Like I said, is either an NXT Women's Championship match at the NXT special in November, or a women's championship match of any kind whenever they want. So they can pick it at WrestleMania, they can pick it at the Royal Rumble, they can pick it on a random episode of NXT, a random episode of SmackDown, or a random episode of Monday Night Raw, something like that. That's what I would recommend you get out of this tournament. But that's just my thoughts, though. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for tuning into this. I just figured I would make this video kind of talking about the Mae Young Classic, since I haven't really had the opportunity to do so, and I kind of figured I'd do this since I didn't do it for the Cruiserweight Classics or the United Kingdom Championship. So I figured I'd do it here. I'm going to try to make these videos as new information comes out. If it's something small, I won't make it like a big video about it. So I don't know when I'll make this video again. If I see like there's another qualifying match that's released on YouTube somewhere, I'll come on here and cover it. But but I'm not going to do it if it's something small. It's not going to be like my WWE video games when like there's when I would come on here and constantly talk about who's on the roster. And I would do it like if there's only been one guy, then I'd go through the guys. I'm not going to do it like that. But if there is a qualifying match, I'll come on here and cover it because I would like to cover the qualifying matches. But if it's something like very small, I'll just save it for like the next Mayan Classics tournament. Yeah, but that's pretty much everything that we know so far. As for when I'll do this video again, I have no idea. It's up in the air. But I will do this video probably again because the Mae Young Classics is still, about a month away. So I expect to probably be doing this video maybe in maybe a couple of weeks. And yeah, I expect it to do it in a couple of weeks. I don't expect to be doing this video very much. I definitely will do it before August. I will be covering though the Bracketology they're gonna do on August 20th after SummerSlam. So I will be doing that. And I will be covering obviously once the Mae Young Classics tournament happens. I will be reviewing it. I'm not sure if it will be every week. And if it's going to be live every week because of the fact that I'm also in school. Because I think it comes back around the time I go back to school. But not that first episode, but like, it comes back around the time I would start to be coming back to school, so I have to put my focus back to school. But I will be covering the tournament when it happens, and I'll be reviewing it every week. It's not going to be like the United Kingdom Championship Tournament where I missed it. It won't be like the Cruiserweight Classics where I turned into an episode of the Retro Wrestling Review Series. So it won't be like that. But that's pretty much it, guys. Also, I just pretty much want to wrap this video up. Please make sure to subscribe to my CM Brothers and Owen the Talkinator channel because I'm going to be posting some videos on there this week. And make sure to subscribe to this channel for more content. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.